Hey, welcome to the tech capital of the world. I'm Bobby Davis here on a brand new super sharp lens. Kevin, how you doing?
I'm great. You're looking very sharp. Very nice.
You can
Look
see
at that.
all
Let me
the
just
flaws
look
on my
back there. Look at
face
that.
now.
Just looks.
So,
Oh, it's so sharp. It's good. Brand new lens day. I like it.
so,
It's
so
great.
now I'm up closer and you can see all the flaws in my face.
It's all
So
colorful
that's
and
good.
stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's great.
All right, man. So you got any gas? Can you drive? I mean, that's the big news around here. There's no
It is the big
gas
news
anymore.
around here. So we're in one of those states where I was telling you this morning. I moved to Kernersville for two reasons: the weather, and it's freezing cold today, and two, the abundance of the gasoline because of Colonial Pipeline. Isn't that why everyone moves here? And like, we don't
Yeah.
have either one of those things. So,
The
like,
For you
yeah,
guys
weird.
don't know, the Colonial Pipeline got hacked. And if you've been living on Iraq, it got hacked, ransomware, and it is literally down the street from yet another reason why the Kernersville is the tech capital of the world. Technically, they say it's in Greensboro, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
in
just
between Kernersville and
it's
Greensboro. It's
it's in
just right
between,
outside
isn't it?
Kernersville.
It's like right there. It's like these big white, I don't know, whatever you call them, like containers of
Drums of
gasoline, right? Big
gasoline.
big things.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can't miss them if you drive through this area. So
right.
yeah, we're a major like stopping point, and they shut us down for a few days, I guess, with some hack, which a ransomware hack, really?
I'm just
Like,
trying to figure it out. So, the thing that's driving me crazy is I read a lot about this. I don't want to be totally uneducated, and
right,
I'm not a security expert.
right.
Okay. But like I don't understand you're running
I don't get
Colonial
it either.
Pipeline, okay? I mean, someone could come in and say, "Oh, we're going to hack Coder Foundry," and like that's a whole different ball game than
Right,
taking our boot camp offline
right.
or something like that versus like taking off the pipeline that
I
just
mean,
gas to
yeah, I
the
mean, this is like
southeastern United
national.
States.
Yeah, this is national infrastructure. I mean, this is like
Yeah,
it's a big deal to take this thing down for sure. But being
yeah,
taken down with a ransomware, like, just seems
yeah.
so like, what are they doing?
Yeah. So like, there's a couple of things, So obviously, getting infected with the ransomware is probably something that you may not be able to avoid. You should be able
Right?
to. You can educate people all you want,
Yeah.
but like they'll send the email in that's fake
Yep.
from the CIO, and people
Yep.
will click on the zip file
Yep.
and unzip it, and there's
And
nothing you
we've
can
and
do.
we've totally lived that. That's happened to
Yeah,
us. It was a
yeah.
newer employee, and all we did was wipe the machine and start back
Right.
over.
Start over.
Ransomware's gone.
Right.
I
Exactly.
don't understand
We
why it's
didn't.
more difficult for them.
We didn't pay anybody any money.
No,
So
we didn't.
Um, so I'm not saying that we're invulnerable to attack, but what I am saying is like if you're Colonial Pipeline, it seems like you would invest in these kind of mitigation problems.
I
This would
think,
be the number one problem that you could run into.
yeah.
But apparently they didn't because apparently they had a job posting for the IT or like the security
Oh,
manager.
really? So he's done. This
Well,
is.
no, it was like 3 months before the attack. Like this,
Oh,
this job's been open for 3 months or something like that, apparently.
it's probably even
So whoever
worse
the
to have
interim
anybody
is
in this spot.
most definitely fired. But like, um, I don't understand like why it took him so long. It seems like to
I don't
me
know.
that if you're running the pipeline, and I don't know about pipeline, so I'm not there. So
Right.
hey, if you're watching this and you're running the pipeline and you live in Greensboro and you want to give me a tour, I'd love to walk around. It'd be very, very cool to see
Yeah.
kind of what's going on. But
Yeah.
it seems like you would be able to do a couple of things. Number one, you would have backups
Backups?
of
You think? I mean, that's like. I mean,
yeah,
we have. I mean, people at home have backups, man. I have a backup of my personal machine.
yeah.
Like, surely that's a thing they have. That just has
Now
to be
I've
a
read
thing.
that the ransomwares can infect shadow copy and other things that are connected to your device. And so like in a home
Right.
backup that was in a USB share
Right.
or a network share like some companies do,
That
it
makes
would
sense.
just jump right over to that network share
Right.
and grab into it.
Right.
But that's not what we're talking about for the Colonial Pipeline
Well,
that's
they
serving
they
gas
have to
to
have
everybody.
redundant backups like 3 times over. Surely they have to have two different cloud backups that go to two different places and physical offsite backup. Surely,
Yeah, so it should be a cloud backup solution, then a fast offsite solution that is. And these companies, the problem is companies have already figured this out. I mean, it's not like you can't buy this.
right,
I'm
right.
not asking you to
Here you go.
like
So somebody hit the
let's
nail on the head right
invent
here. This,
something
this
here.
this is somebody hit the nail on the head right here. Companies don't want to spend money. This is it. This is not. You're not reinventing like the wheel here. This exists. No. You just have to buy it.
So here's the third thing. I would almost bet money that if they sat down and thought about it for like 45 minutes, that not only could you say your machine got bricked, which is what happens when you get ransomware. It's bricked.
Yeah.
That you could probably pull a machine off the shelf and just turn it on and it would work. Second, it seems to me that you could spin these things up as VMs in the cloud and be up and running like instantly.
Yeah.
Or you've got to brick that machine, which I think you would, if you got ransomware, I would definitely pull it off the network. I would throw it in the garbage, and then I would find another machine and stick it on there. And that's what I would have.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it seems like that's what you would do.
I mean,
it seems like you would also practice this too, in the event of ransomware. What do we do? Pull them off seems like you would have a redundancy.
This is true. Yeah. So here you go. Here's what Lawson says too. Same thing. Companies are regularly reactive, not proactive. And that is the problem. It's the same with, companies shouldn't be that way. They really shouldn't be. Consumers, I get it. Like you're not always prepared for that. Not everybody does backups. A lot of people do, but not everybody does. I kind of get that. But a company, especially something as important as gas infrastructure,
right?
Surely that just has to be a thing. I don't understand why it's not. You're right. It should have been as simple as them being like, "Oh, that got ransomware. Great. We have this backup machine right here that's been siloed and we've backed it up and it's ready to go. Turn it on and away we go." I don't understand why that didn't happen.
Yeah, they should have been able to give the three-fingered salute or whatever you want to call it to the Russian companies and say, "Screw you, buddy. I've got this sorted. We're sorted."
I guess they eventually got there, right? They didn't pay it, as far as I know. They didn't, because that's ridiculous.
They're not going to say if they paid or not, but they're back up.
Oh, that would just be silly.
It took them 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, and I'm assuming it's probably to do with they have backups, but they're maybe not easy to reinstall back in or whatever it is, or maybe they had to. I don't really know. I don't know what the exact details were, but it seemed like it took them way too long. Push this thing back up again.
And maybe there's solutions, but my point is, you could probably bring someone on here and go, "Hey, Bobby, this is way more complex than you think." And I would say,
I'm not sure it is.
Right.
I'm not sure it is.
More complex. You probably have 100 machines that got infected, and they're all kind of different. And you have logic controllers and just different
I don't think it got to that level. I really don't.
Install on Windows 95. I get it. It's probably running on Windows 95. Let's be real.
Oh, come on. It's XP. Come on. It's definitely XP.
So, but, and then we could have the Mac purists out there. You should have ran it on Mac. See, they don't get ransomware.
That's just junk. That's just not true. Well, if anybody ever tells you that, don't believe that. That's just not true. Macs get viruses.
So anyway, it just seems like they didn't practice it and they weren't ready. And that's what I'm saying. Even the complex problem, the solve after you think about it and go through it, can be as simple as it should have been super simple, and it shouldn't have caused people fighting in the streets and getting gas at night.
Right. Did you drive by the gas station? I had a full tank, and I'm not really driving anywhere at the minute. So for me, it's I don't really care. I
think the peak of this was Sunday night. So we're on Thursday now. So I think it's gonna but okay. Sunday night I lived down around the Sheets, and it was around the block coming off the thing.
Wow. I saw a stat that said 70-something% of gas stations in North Carolina don't have gas.
Yeah.
So
apparently, I woke up to Twitter and people were putting gas in trash bags.
I saw that yesterday.
I don't believe that. Number one, I don't think a trash bag.
There's photos of it.
Yeah.
But we all know. I know. But
how are you going to get the gas out of the trash bag?
That's exactly what we were talking about. We're talking about that. It's one thing to fill it; it's another to get it out. I don't know, but there were definitely people filling up, just panic buying gas, which is such a silly thing to do.
Exactly. And also, they panic buyed food too. So that was Kelly said, my wife, true. She said that there was nothing in the grocery stores.
Really? So hold on. So the Colonial Pipeline shut down, so people panic bought bread.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're related.
Man, we get.
So, anyway, I thought it was funny.
There's a long way to go for humanity.
but we're going to survive, and they'll get the pipeline back up.
It's back up already, I guess. I saw a thing
Yeah.
this morning saying that it was all back up again, so it's okay.
Yeah, so we'll be fine.
But I agree. Like, it's one of those things. Their technology is probably just way out of date, and it's one of those things where it's probably it's if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of thing. And it's just like it's just ran forever and ever and ever and ever. And it's probably had it was probably an old version of the OS or whatever, and it had a vulnerability in it, which it's probably not even like a 0-day exploit. I don't know, but I'm guessing it's probably not. They just got targeted by something that's probably well known, and that was it.
So it's a couple of security professionals saying that sometimes they air gap systems, and because they air gap them, they're no longer ever updated because they feel like since it's air gap, there's no reason to update it.
Right,
but
which kind of makes sense.
But you should always patch and update stuff and keep it upgraded.
Yeah.
I guarantee it's the concern now. I mean, I guarantee they're concerned.
Oh yeah, they're spending a fortune on this now. Like after it's happened,
the consultants that were calling right away. They got in there.
Exactly.
So,
okay, today we're going to do our usual Q&A. You have questions, throw them in the chat. We will get to those here in a second. I'd just like to do one thing first, and that is welcome our newest team member, our newest coder team member, MSV. So thank you for becoming a team member. We appreciate it.
Okay, he's a member of the site.
Yeah, your membership won't pop up for some reason. It won't pop up in chat here, MSV, and I have no way to pull it over. It's weird the way the vMix works. I can't put it on the screen, but since you put it here, I did see it, but it doesn't pop up. I have to go back to the other screen to see it. So, but yes, thank you for becoming a team member. We super appreciate it, and thank you to everybody else that's a team member too. I see there's another couple of team members here too. Let me see. Althea's a team member too, and Althea is here as well. So thank you for joining us.
Very cool.
Okay. Let's talk about this first. Big announcement today, everybody. Giant announcement. No, there isn't. Don't.
No, not yet.
There isn't.
So we're fast approaching getting this complete, getting it out for you. But it's just a lot of work. I don't think people understand. So but it will be out there this summer. So we'll definitely get it out there to you.
Yep.
And
we're still on target.
Still on target where we're going to be, and it's going to be out there. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be great, and get you in there learning how to code and breaking it down. So so I'm recording this week, and I think what we might do, Kevin, what we could do is release the syllabus of it, so people understand kind of what we're doing. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think when it's so we're still rearranging a few things and still kind of fitting some in and kind of testing it internally.
Yeah.
When we have that kind of final, we'll put out the syllabus so you can see all the different sections. We'll probably do that. We'll probably do a couple of little teasers. Maybe we'll put out a little bit of video. Those kind of things. So yeah, we'll put out a little bit before we actually push out the whole thing.
Okay, cool. I think we can show you some project overview video. I think is one thing that we can do.
Yeah.
Put it out there and say, hey, this is what you're going to build, so you can see kind of the scope of our bug tracker, the scope of our blog projects, the scope of Movie Pro, stuff like that. I think we can get those out to you in the next short time. I don't want to guarantee anything.
You don't guarantee anything because you guys will hold us if we say something. So
someone said we guaranteed May. We didn't say May. Summer.
Well, you said May a couple times. Then people are like, "Man, it's May now. That's it. It's May. Like I'm done. Like it's May. It's not May."
So, but we'll get there and we'll get it out the door. So, it's coming.
We just want it to be great. That's the other thing too. So
that's it.
Okay, but if you are interested, again, the deal that we have still right now is $229 for the year. That's going to run until we launch, probably through the first week of launch, I think. Maybe we're going to decide what we're going to do there. But post-launch, we're definitely going to add $99 a month model after that. So This is technically the cheapest you will ever be able to get it if you haven't already bought it. And we're never going to do the $129 again. So just put that out there. That is, we're not making that up. Okay, let's do some questions. Let's see. Omar here has a question. It says, is Electron.js really better to build desktop apps than WPF with C Sharp.
I don't think so. I don't think in any way, shape, or form is it better than ever will be better than WPF with C Sharp.
So so Electron.js is you're using Java?
You're using web things to put your stuff in what's a container, and then that container runs natively on your desktop.
So this is one of those solutions where it's like, I know how to do this one piece of technology, but I really want to deploy it to this other thing, so I'm going to use what I know and have it deploy to this other platform, right?
Yeah, but it's not that Electron is bad. It's not that, and that's not what I'm saying. Don't get me wrong. If that's the way you want to build it, go for it. I mean, Electron's pretty cool, but is it better than building a native app with WPF and C Sharp? Never.
Right.
Especially if you have the reason you're on desktop anyway, probably building a desktop app anyway is because you need access to the level file system. And there's some things you can do in Electron and some things you can't. So that'll give you a better experience in WPF and C Sharp. So, but Microsoft is really pushing with .NET MAUI, and they're going to have kind of build targets that are like Electron.js and things like that, which is going to be kind of cool. We'll talk about it more later in the year as that gets solidified, but and what they're actually going to call it so that you can multi-target UIs. That's what MAUI stands for. So Blazor will be one of those targets that will go out to the desktop, and it'll be running in a container like Electron. I'm not sure exactly what they're going to use for containing it yet. It could be Electron, it could be something else, but it'll be very similar to that, where you'll use Blazor to, if you want to build your desktop app that way, you'll be able to.
Okay.
But even then, I would say that if you really have a true desktop app and you're not trying to get it to desktop, to mobile, also to the web, and you're just building just a desktop app, WPF can be a better way to do it. So the cool part about MAUI is going to be that I can target Mac OS desk and Windows desk, and that's kind of cool. So WPF stands for Windows Presentation Foundation, which they're going to have to rename it because it's going to be able to target multiple OSs.
Okay, so that will definitely get a name change then. Yeah, I can't see them keeping that if that's going to be that way.
Yeah, WinForms and like those kind of things. All of that's getting kind of ported into .NET 6 so that it can multi-target MAUI. We'll see how far they get along this year, but it should be really, really, really cool. It's one of the big things for .NET 6.
Okay, Esther
I like the way you asked that. Is Electron really better? Like, that's what I've been told. That's what everyone's saying.
No, because that is the way, isn't it?
Electron's far superior to WPF. Tell me what you think, Bobby. Is it really better? No.
Right. All right. You're like, nope, no, it's not.
I'm assuming he's talking about
the course. Yeah.
And the whether you're in the bootcamp, virtual bootcamp, or you're taking the class. Yeah, we use Link and we use store procedures in SQL. But you use a lot of Link accessing through something called Entity Framework to get to data. So
give me a quick primer on what Link is again.
It's just a query language that you can use inside of your controllers or something like that. So you can select data from an object, and then that object will then turn around and translate that into SQL if you're hitting.
Okay, so this kind of connects my C# to my SQL kind of thing. Okay. I guess we're learning that. We'll learn that in the class.
Man. It'd be cool.
I like it. Okay. Jay Reagan, thank you for the question. Says, what is the bare minimum skill needed with .NET to get a job? And what project should one work on for portfolio?
So here's my saying on this, and don't take this the wrong way. Here's my belief when I talk about incoming students in here. At Coder Foundry, you're asking me the wrong question because I don't believe in bare minimum. I believe in doing what's necessary, not what's easy. But I think my bare minimum may be different than others. But what I want to do is, if you go through the effort of learning, can you turn that skill into a job? And so that's my bare minimum. Can we get a job with this?
Right.
And so like, I think you, at the bare minimum, if we have to go there, you need to know HTML, CSS, JavaScript. You need to know C# and SQL, and you need to be able to construct and build an MVC app that connects to a database and implements security. That's kind of what I want, and that's a lot. And so I don't think there is a to-do list or a simple project that doesn't do those things that's good enough to get a job with .NET. Now, Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone out there can build a simple to-do list and they can like talk their way into it. But I don't think so, especially for people that are asking me this or people that don't have experience at all in the industry. So if you're coming from Angular and React and you want to get into .NET development, yeah, you could probably put together a simpler project, and then they'll say, okay, he knows how to do this because he has all this other years of experience of coding and building things like that. But if you're coming from what we call zero to hero, where you want to get a job, I think you need to show all the skills for it. So I think that our bug tracker is why we build it, is because it hits all those points. And if you can build one of those and talk about it, I think you can get a job. I will say this, it's two skills. One is the building skill and one is the interviewing skill. And unfortunately, the interviewing skill is what trips up a lot of students. They do know how to build things and how to construct it, but they never really practice on the interviewing part of it. I think you need to.
So,
all right, cool. Hope that helps.
I have a question that's not on here. Somebody had asked this. We're talking about this in Discord, and I saw it in Discord. So I don't know if Wolfredo is actually here too, but he put a question in Discord that says, does anybody know what the experience equivalent of the bootcamp? Will it give us 2 years of experience once we finish the initial bootcamp? The reason he's asking says, I was talking to a recruiter yesterday and he told him that most of the C Sharp jobs require 5 to 7 years of experience. He did an Indeed search and found that 1 to 3 years of experience in the New York area is kind of typical. So I guess the real question is, after you've done the boot camp, is that if you learned enough to be able to get a job at that point?
Yes.
I guess that's the real question.
That's the thing. So like, number one, here's the one thing that I see across the industry. So 5 years experience is kind of what they want, but then you got to look at what they're paying. And then if they're paying somewhere under 90K, they're not getting a 5-year .NET person unless they're terrible to begin with. So let's say that they're hiring terrible 5-year people, then you absolutely, coming out of the boot camp, can compete with a terrible 5-year experienced person because you know just as much as they do, if not more. Right. So the key to winning a job is building a project and then talking about it. So if you can have a rock star portfolio and people look at your portfolio and like, wow, that bug tracker is impressive, that can get you to an interview, even with a recruiter. And the recruiter, if you have a portfolio, can go to that 1 to 3 year guy or the 5-year guy that's paying 60K, and say, listen, man, I can't find someone at 60K that has 5-year experience, but look at this portfolio and look at this person's work. I think they're worth interviewing, and just talk to them. And that's what a recruiter will do. And then once you get there, that's your job to win it at that point.
Here's also what you'll find with this. The recruiter, when you say like, oh, I completed this course, I did this boot camp, whatever, they firstly do not expect you to have a portfolio. And trust me, when you show them the quality of your work, they will be shocked by how good it's going to be. We've seen this firsthand. We have seen this firsthand. They've been like, we're not interested in newbies. Like, we don't want to work with somebody who's just finished a boot camp. Like, well, I've got a portfolio. You want to take a look? And then the guy was like, oh, well, that's a different story.
That's a different story. I can sell that.
I can sell that. That was the quote. I can sell that.
Yeah, I can sell that.
Because they're not used to seeing that. They're just not used to seeing a high level of work from somebody who hasn't done this for 3 years.
Right. The second thing is, if you follow the plan that we set out in our first video that's out there in learn.coderfoundry right now, and you go watch that, we're talking about building a sales tool. So like, we build a portfolio, and then that portfolio is then you push that portfolio out all over the place using blog articles that you build the software as well. The blog articles go to Medium, it goes to DevTO, it goes to LinkedIn, you tweet about it, you follow people that could hire you, and then they see your content, and then suddenly you get an offer and not necessarily, or at least an invite to interview, and you circumvent the whole process. So even when you build a portfolio, you got to push that thing out there and let people know that you can code. So
that's it. Remember, if you got questions, throw them in chat. I'll queue them up.
Yeah.
I'll go to as many as I can. If somebody super chats, that will jump to the top as always. MSV wants to talk about cryptocurrencies. Okay, anything we talk about right now is not financial advice. Just want to put that out there.
So we have to say that.
We have to legally say that. This is definitely not financial advice. I don't own any Dogecoin. I'll tell you that.
I don't own any crypto. I probably will eventually.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I own some, but like nothing. Not a massive amount. I don't own a massive amount. Yeah, I have no real advice for it. I think it's a super interesting technology more than anything. I think we've talked about this before, but I think the blockchain is a super interesting technology that we don't quite see how it fits in and where it fits in yet. I think it fits in a whole bunch of different places we really haven't thought of yet.
Here's my thing on it, and I come at it from a layman point of view, Kevin. Like I look at Dogecoin, I read about Dogecoin, and the first sign of it's a meme coin. It was made as a joke, blah blah blah. And there's always this disclaimer about Dogecoin, so therefore it's super speculative. And I'm like, well, Bitcoin's super speculative. I understand there's differences between the platforms and the integration and all that stuff. I get all that, but like all of these things are super speculative. I mean, like
they are
Bitcoin.
They are. You know, I mean, I saw a very interesting
Dogecoin.
All of them, right? Yeah. I saw a very interesting application the other day. So, if you use Coinbase, they give you like these little incentives to give you kind of free coins. You watch videos and learn a little bit about these other coins, right? So I was watching one, and I forget the coin off the top of my head, but this was genius. This was like what they were doing is so you can leverage your cryptocurrencies and loan them to people. So you can loan your cryptocurrency, making interest on it, right, through this platform. You can then also borrow cryptocurrency through this platform using like real money, I guess. Super interesting.
Keep it up, Dennis.
Hey, Dennis, thank you. Appreciate it. Dennis, thank you for the super chat. Super appreciate it. That'll get us tacos. That's lunch. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to get tacos.
But yeah, I mean these kind of things that are kind of fringe related to it interest me a little bit more. Like borrowing against your cryptocurrency and like loaning your cryptocurrency is a super interesting thing. You earn a coin for anything that happens in the system too. So you're actually, not only are you making interest on your crypto, but you're also earning another coin as well, or partial of a coin, whatever it is. Like it's
here's what I will say about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, all of those. It doesn't really matter. Is if I put a bunch of money into one of them, I would have like a 3-year outlook on it or a 5-year outlook on it.
Yeah. I'm not a short-term investor in that.
Say $500 in Dogecoin this morning. If I did, then I wouldn't sell Dogecoin for at least 3 years. And if you look at, I see so many people. I was at Mother's Day, and a lot of people had bought Dogecoin at 67
Oh, really?
cents. Yeah. And so like it was the family discussion.
Yeah.
That
Interesting.
And I was like, and then so of course, Elon Musk goes out on Saturday Night Live.
Oh yeah, buries it for a minute.
Hustle, and the thing drops down to 36 or something like that right now, and like they're selling it. And I'm like, well, why are you selling it? I mean, like, just hang on to it. You have $100 in Dogecoin now. So like, why are you going to lose $40 because Elon Musk is just saying jokes about?
I did see something yesterday about Elon Musk saying that they started accepting Bitcoin for Tesla. Well,
yeah, they quit now.
Now they quit. Like, I don't understand that. I thought they invested, wasn't it like $8 million or $8 billion or something ridiculous? Wasn't it? They invested.
They made $400 million on it was in their investor report.
Wow, that's crazy. So they invested in it, started accepting it, and then now they're not. I just don't know why they pulled back on that. Something obviously there isn't working.
To do with the volatile nature of Bitcoin itself. So like dollars are relatively, I know we're in an inflation market, but they're relatively.
But agreed, they're relatively stable. Exactly. We're talking about minor parts of a percentage. Like Bitcoin can tank like full percentage points in an hour.
Yeah.
Like.
I mean, so if you looked at like Dogecoin earlier in the year, it's gone up 1,300%. So if you priced your gallon of milk at like 20 Dogecoins. I mean,
well, there's always those memes, isn't there, where you look back on people and like in the high when they bought Bitcoin and it was like $1 something or whatever. They're like, man, I bought a pizza with my Bitcoin. That's a $60,000 pizza now. Like,
exactly.
It's like that would be
crazy.
That would suck. That would be bad.
So that's all I know about. That's all I know about cryptos there, MSV.
I think it's an interesting market. I think there's a lot we're going to see there. I really do. I think there's a lot of it. Different interesting things we're going to see with blockchain, probably more than Bitcoin, probably related to cryptocurrency and those kind of things. But
I would say this. I'll say this one final thing. If you have $1,000 to invest or $100 to invest, and that's your entire investment, and you don't invest in anything else, don't put it in crypto. Put it in something else.
Don't make it your only investment. I think that's a silly move.
It's like buying lottery tickets, maybe, except it does have a resale value. Your lottery ticket does not ever.
Yeah.
But like you can.
I've seen people pulling out their life savings and putting it in Dogecoin. I'm like, that's just silly, man. That is just ridiculous. Be willing. Here's the thing with any of these things: be willing to lose it all. If you're not willing to lose it all and you're taking a gamble, then it's just like going to the casino and just betting on red, right? You shouldn't be doing that with money you don't actually afford to just give away.
But with Bitcoin, you could see a move like right now it's trading above 50,000 per coin. You could see that easily going down to 30,000, and you can see it easily going to 100,000 per coin, over the next 18 months. So like that's, I don't think it's ever going to be like the dollar where it just stays like that. It's going to have like wide
exactly. I agree. Yeah.
Dogecoin is a little bit different than most people own Dogecoin or just a few people.
Right.
And they can really drive the price or make the market.
Yeah. Also, he mentions the environmental impact of mining and hashing. I don't know about the environmental impact. I know about the impact on the video card market. That's what I know about personally. So you can't buy one of the damn things.
I don't know, man. I mean, like, I guess he's trying to save the electricity for his cars. I mean, like,
well, that's true. It's like, right, the environmental impact of the cars are surely worse, aren't they? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know enough about
that. Gotta get energy from somewhere, man. I mean,
Yeah. He needs a solar-powered version of that car is what we need next. Something that actually works. That'd be cool. A Tesla with solar roof. That'd be pretty neat. Here you go. Paul made the wise investment. Invested his money in a self-paced I don't know what your return on that's going to be. Paul, I don't know what to. I don't know if you can resell.
Paul's our best mate, man. He keeps us on target. It's like, hey, man, tell him to like it. Smash the like button. That's Paul. Smash the like.
That's funny. Which just as a reminder, you can go there. I know you guys have already all bought this, so it doesn't.
Exactly.
I'm like preaching to the choir. You guys, I know.
Yeah.
That's why we don't talk about it so much, because Okay. So thanks for the talking point, MSV, by the way. That was good.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Okay, so Alberto wants to know, why choose Parallels and not VMware Fusion? Have you tested both and decided on Parallels? Have you played with VMware Fusion?
I have not, and I've used Parallels exclusively for the last year and a half, and I just like Parallels. It's what I've used. I have not tried VMware Fusion.
I'm interesting. What does that have that Parallels doesn't? Does it have anything?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Because here's the thing. Parallels works, and it works great.
On Mac, it works great on Mac. And so and it's made for what I'm doing. I'm sure VMware, being a fantastic company, has a very competitive product.
Yeah.
But,
do you have you don't have any use cases where you're like, man, this just doesn't work? Parallels, right? Or is there?
So like some of the problems I run into, like sometimes like the screen, like when I'm flipping between screens on my monitor, my 4K monitor, sometimes in Parallels it'll go to like a really high resolution, like 720 by 480 or something stupid, and like the icons are like this big on the screen.
Oh, so like a low resolution version of that.
Yeah, you end up rebooting your Windows Parallel, and then it comes back in and you're good. So that's some of the things I see. I also see some of the other kind of fringe cases is I have some arrays or disk arrays on my desk,
right?
And they're connected in through Mac, and then you have to go through and say, where do you want this to run? I run it to run on Windows, and sometimes Windows will lose visibility to that, and I end up having to like reset Parallels and reboot. But that's about it. Other than that, man, you got the 3-finger swipe between Windows and Mac, easy, right on my touchpad. It looks just like another desktop.
I like it.
And sometimes I'll have Mac on one window and Windows on the other window, and sometimes I'll find myself Googling stuff when I'm coding in Mac
Right.
OS side, and then I'm coding over here on Visual Studio on the other side. So you
Yeah,
don't
that's
even
cool.
notice I'm doing it. So it's pretty
Huh.
cool. I like it.
There you go. N17 here says, weirdly, a VMware VM created on Windows wouldn't run on VMware on a Mac. Okay, interesting, but worked flawlessly in Parallels. Okay, that is weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Parallels. I mean, it just seems to be the best Mac one out there. But
Yep.
they don't pay us to say it, so just use what you think. But I
Exactly.
would
Use
imagine
whatever's.
that Parallels will work fantastic for you, especially if you're coming into the boot camp. That's what we recommend. We say get Parallels. You know,
Yeah. Do they have the
our recommendations come from like experience, Kevin. In other words, like this is what we're using, this is what we
right,
like. We have people coming in that say, "Can I use Writer?" And we're like, you can, I guess, but like all of
right,
our
kind
examples from
of,
Visual Studio. So why would you do that at this point? Especially since
right,
software's free.
right.
So why
Just
would you do
looking
anything
now.
other than Parallels? I don't
There's
know.
there is a Parallels version that supports the M1 chip now too, I guess. So
Mhm.
that's cool.
They did that pretty quick.
Yeah, that is pretty
So
quick. So if you have one of those M1 machines, I guess you can take full advantage of that. Hopefully
yeah,
this year they bring out those new the new bigger laptops, and I can finally upgrade to one.
yeah, we'll see.
I'm impatiently waiting, Ovi. Let's see. Brandon J, thank you for the question. So he lives in SoCal, and it was HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And I want to get a job within the next 2 months. Should I move into React, or should I pivot into something like Shopify?
So you can do whatever you want to do. What I think is React will give you more opportunities as far as like the number of jobs and the different types of industries you can move into. But you also can pivot into something like Shopify and build Shopify sites and do that kind of stuff. And then you're targeting the e-commerce market. You could build plugins in Shopify if that's what you want to do. Um, I don't know. To me, my gut feeling would be that I would move into React if that's what you want to do. I think you can get you have more opportunities in React than you would in just Shopify. But you know,
Yeah,
depends on what you want to do.
I would say
What I
that
will
too.
say this is
You have to
don't,
learn.
granted, pick one way and go with it full bore until you get a job. Don't hem and haw and go back and forth and be kind of a jack of all trades and a master of none, so to speak. Is master React or master Shopify and really kind of dive deep into that and get in and break in with one of those. I think React's more versatile than Shopify is from a career standpoint.
I would also say potentially.
All right. Thank
Oh,
you.
Gagan, thank you so much. We'll get you a question here in 1 second. That's funny.
Super status, and he wants it for the 129.
Okay,
So it's
we'll talk about
229,
that in 1
unfortunately.
second. What I would also
Yeah,
say here is maybe look at something like WordPress too. Your skills through HTML,
yeah,
CSS, and JS. You could pick up WordPress kind of quick on top of that too. There's plenty of those kind of jobs as well to start you
yeah,
out. It's not going to give you kind of, it's not going to give you, you are sort of pigeonholing yourself into the WordPress thing, but but there are plenty of opportunities for that too. And the learning curve there, you're going to find kind of easy. Just like you are with Shopify, it's an easier learning curve than it is probably going into React.
yeah.
Okay, let me see here. What does Gagan say? Gagan says, thanks for setting up learn.codefoundry.com. Found out about today. Any chance I can still get the 129 price? No. Maybe.
Unfortunately, man, it's that's a deal that we offered to early bird adopters, and so
Yeah.
it's gone to 229.
We still have it at 229. We're going to keep it at 229 until we launch. We still think that's an amazing deal. The only reason we offered the 129 price up front was because the people that are here all the time, we wanted to make
Yeah,
sure that they kind of, you guys that show up every day with us here every Tuesdays and Thursdays,
yeah.
that have been asking about the course, we wanted to make sure that they got that price. That's why we launched it at that. Sorry. It is still an amazing deal though at 229. I know it is.
It's $22 a month. I mean, like it's just kind of low,
Yep.
So
Yeah. Um, so that
thanks
is
for the
what it
super
is.
chat,
Sorry.
though. You probably want
Yes,
your money
thank you.
back now.
Sorry.
But no, we do think 229 is a great deal, and just reach out to us on learn.coderfoundry and get into it. We'll teach you how to learn C Sharp.
Okay. Just queuing up a few more things here. Here you go. Yeah, this is kind of the right answer to what we're talking about there. If you want a quick job, go Shopify. If you want a better paying job, go React or take a bit of advantage on that course.
Look at Jordan. I like it,
yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, what I would say is Shopify, React, or ASP.NET. Pick one of those routes and just go full bore in that route. Don't mess around trying to learn all three of those things. Obviously, we believe ASP.NET has fantastic job opportunity. That's why we built our course around. That's why we sell it at our bootcamp. But you can get jobs in React, and I'm sure there's some Shopify routes that you can take. I'm not an expert on Shopify, so I'm sure there's other people that tell you more about what those job prospects are. I do know this: Shopify is probably one of the largest on volume of e-commerce vendors, even over Amazon.
Oh yeah.
So like I was looking at some things last Christmas where they're saying that more transactions ran through all of Shopify than even through Amazon. So it is a huge,
it's massive,
huge platform.
Yep.
It's like also learning Salesforce. I mean, so like, but if that's what they're at, you want to go, and you want to learn Shopify, go for it, man. And if you can get a job real quick, then get paid, and then maybe learn React or ASP after that. So
I would also say that, and Jordan, you said the same thing right here. I was going to say it's the exact same thing. The Shopify and the WordPress jobs are going to lean more, obviously front end. They're going to lean more beginner friendly, kind of.
Yeah.
They're not going to want as much experience because it's easier to pick up. The React jobs and the .NET jobs are going to be more. They're certainly going to pay more. I guarantee it, especially in the long run. And they're going to be more. Obviously, you've got to learn more, so they're going to be. That's just they're not going to be as beginner friendly, I guess.
But also, don't believe that they don't hire juniors, because they do. Because otherwise, there wouldn't be anyone to take these jobs. Like every .NET guy right now that's any good, that's a mid to senior level, has a job. And so, like, there's 15,000 openings in the U.S. right now. So, like, that tells you that there has to be new talent bringing into the industry for it to keep up. So,
right. I got a few questions from a few people about the same thing. So MSV and Shushnath, I hope I got your name right there. I got that right? Sushnath, yeah. Wants to know, we're talking about ADO.NET is faster than Entity Framework. Why new jobs for Entity Framework? And apparently MSV is also saying that a lot of recruiters in India are asking about Entity Framework. So it's a hot topic.
So number one, Entity Framework is an object-oriented program. It's an ORM, Object Relational Management. That's the thing that Microsoft is pushing out. I wouldn't say the ADO.NET is faster than EF. Yes, really fast. I mean, but you can make anything slow in both sides of it. The reason they're asking for EF is because that is what Microsoft is pushing out through all of their platforms, Entity Framework. And so it's not really whether it's faster, it's what's in demand. So I think that you can just embrace the way the industry is going. It's not that difficult to understand what it's doing, but it is a little bit different than ADO.NET, where you're just like, sometimes you can write just a SQL statement, just execute it. Whereas this, you're using objects to do that kind of stuff and using LINQ typically. But it doesn't mean that you can't like execute a stored procedure or do that kind of stuff. You can as well. So, but it's just where the industry has moved. And my advice to everyone is move with it. You don't want to be the last guy holding the ADO.NET flag.
Right. You're going down with the ship.
Worth it, man. It's not worth it. Just use the Entity Framework.
Yeah.
But
do you have some horror stories about that?
About
people that hung on to languages for too long.
Yeah, I think so. I read an article the other day where someone's trying to revive VB.NET and call it Mercury or something. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like, why? I mean, like, okay, whatever. So they've,
Here's a good question. Is there any known certificate in web dev you would suggest? I would suggest going right here and getting the certificate from this course.
And the certificate that you really get from that course is that portfolio you can show.
Yeah.
So I think that like certificates say, hey, I've done this, I've done these things, and therefore I'm job ready. But if you had a portfolio, you can you can prove it better than any certificate ever will. Doesn't mean that you can't get these. That's fine. Go grab one. I mean, even if you grab one from us and you go to Coder Foundry and get a certificate, you still need to show that what you can do. And part of that is learning how to talk about your projects during the interview process, and learn.Coder Foundry. That's what we're going to show you how to do. It's one of the big parts of it, is learn how to talk about your projects so you can win a technical interview.
Yeah, we're kind of in the camp of, I don't know, I'm gonna say it, certificates are overrated.
Yeah.
Anybody that here that's been to college, right? Even your college degree certificate doesn't really mean anything, right? Because there was a dude in your class who got straight C's, who barely showed up, that at the end of the day got the same piece of paper you did when you got all A's. They're not equal. It's not an equal standing. Yeah, I guarantee you, if you worked harder, your portfolio is 10 times better than his portfolio. So that's more of a gauge of, like, can you actually do it or not? The piece of paper, to me, doesn't really mean anything.
I think the portfolio with projects is the best way to go. That's
it. You have to show you can do the work. Not the piece of paper doesn't mean anything to me. It just doesn't. Because I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. Come on, everybody that went to college, you carried somebody in your class, right, on those group projects. Yeah. they got the same grade you did ultimately too.
Yeah,
that's how it works. Certificates are kind of, I don't know, they're a little overrated, I think, but that's just me. Shanid wants to know, what is PHP lifespan? Can you read the future? Get the tea leaves.
Here's what I'll say about PHP, Python. I think Python has a longer lifespan inside of, like, because of data science's use there.
Yeah.
When you look at languages like C Sharp being pushed by Microsoft, that lifespan is really long. And then you look at languages like, I'm going to say it, Java, and then you wonder where the lifespan for that is. Is it around for 20 years? Yes. Will it go down in popularity? Yes, because I think Google's moving on to other platforms. And they were primarily the driver behind it before. Doesn't mean that we're not going to build stuff with Spring Boot, MVC, and all that kind of stuff. If people keep pushing those things out, it'll stay popular. PHP is the same way. What I would say is, even though I'm an advocate for .NET, I am. That's what I think is the best one to learn right now. I can tell you this: I'm not going to be if it went out of favor, I'm not going to be the guy holding the .NET flag at the very end of that rainbow either.
Right. You're not going down with the shit.
Nah, I'm gonna.
You've bailed long before that's happened.
If you can get paid with PHP, go for it. I think PHP though is slanted towards WordPress. I mean, so like that's what's driving a lot of the development, because WordPress being built in PHP, then running plugins for WordPress and doing all these things, you have to use PHP to do that. And that if you took that part of the market out of it, how much is used to build full stack web applications that aren't WordPress? And that's the question I've always came back to, that when you look at that, people are going to other kind of frameworks that are more robust than some of when you can't PHP ones. But there's some ones out there, Django, I think one, and then there's some other ones, Laravel, I think is PHP framework. You can do it. I mean, like, just what I've always said is learn one thing, build a portfolio on that one thing, and then go interview for the jobs where people are using that. So anyway,
I'll also say, as long as WordPress is around and continues to use PHP, it's sticking around for that amount of time. And again, maybe at some point they move off that or something. I don't know, but it's
redo it and say WordPress is now whatever.
That's gonna kill PHP.
Gonna kill it. But I
totally believe that.
I don't think so. And they like the way it's written, so that's cool.
Yep.
So I think right now today, Shanad, if you're looking to break in right now, then I think PHP you'll be able to find employment with PHP.
Yep, I agree.
So I think you'll be safe. And lifespan, we need to look at the next 2 to 5 years. You can learn something new after you have a job. So is it going to be here in like 2030? I don't know. I mean, like, probably. Does it matter? No, because you would just learn something new after you broke in. So,
yeah. Right. Just a reminder. Thanks for the hype, Jordan. Smash the like button.
Smash the like button, y'all. I like the word y'all. We're coming southern today, man. Y'all.
I like it.
North Carolina, baby.
Althea has a question. It says, so are you able to list out the software or things we would need in preparation for the bootcamp? Now, obviously, we'll talk about that specifically in the bootcamp. It is part of it as well, just so you know. But what can they start looking at?
VS Code. You have to have VS Code. You have to have Visual Studio Community Edition, and you have to have Postgres. Those are the three major things that you need to get installed and get it ready. What I'm telling people, whether you're coming to the bootcamp and virtual, or you're kind of waiting for us to launch the learn.coder Foundry, learn as much JavaScript as you can at this point and get up to date on, even though we're going to teach you how to code, but the more prep you have, the better you'll perform, and the quicker you'll get a job, the better you perform. So,
yep,
should be good.
Yep. This is funny. I'm assuming he means me, but Matthew says a 40K piece of paper is worth nothing. Yeah, I'm saying that. The actual piece of paper is worthless, Matthew. If you chose not to learn anything and you had nothing coming out of it, then yeah. I mean,
so like no one asked me where my degree's
education.
From.
Well, the education part is what's important. The piece of paper doesn't mean squat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. So and I think that can go both ways, Matt. I mean, so like one of the things is you can say, oh, let's say you graduated from a second tier or a community college, okay, versus someone who graduated from MIT. I think that you shouldn't feel bad about that paper, because I think the paper that is not really worth anything. It's what you know and how you can
exactly
apply that. One of our people that we respect a lot, Scott Hanselman, and Scott Hanselman's like director of whatever at Visual Studio and all things .NET, and he's their face man, and he went to community college.
Yep, he's very proud of that too. He pitches that. That's his thing.
I don't think you should feel bad if you went to community college, or you should feel fantastic because you graduated MIT. Ultimately, MIT may get you that first job, but that second one, man, is going to be all on you.
Yep. It can only carry you so far. I agree. Yeah. If you go to somewhere illustrious with a name that has some kind of weight behind it, that's the thing that can help you for sure.
Yeah.
But again, only to a certain point.
But I would say that there's only a few of those. There's Harvard, MIT, but then if you go to any 4-year school, let's just take one that has a really great computer science program in North Carolina. It's at NC State. A comp sci degree from NC State isn't going to move the needle necessarily like MIT would. Right. And then it's definitely not going to say, ooh, you went to NC State or you went to Cal Berkeley. It doesn't matter. I mean, what can you do?
That's also something too.
We've definitely,
we've had graduates from UNC and from NC State go to the boot camp because they didn't really actually teach them how to code.
Coming in too.
So there you go. Crazy. It's very common. We're in an area where just because you have the degree from that certain college doesn't mean you also know how to code.
Right.
It's kind of a different skill set.
I would say committed to your craft. Stay committed to your craft. And if you do that, you're always going to be okay in this industry. Don't feel bad about that. If you've already got that, feel proud about what you have, but then your skills matter more than the paper. So anyway, I know he's just kidding, but like we ran it a little bit. So sorry.
No. I think it's important. I do. I think it's important. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. Baby cakes. Is it true? You're going to love this. Is it true? Most .NET jobs are like cults where people worship everything Microsoft.
Yeah, that's what happens. We have a flag,
That's
all
very
of us.
true.
We put it on the floor.
It is definitely true.
And we gather around it in the morning. Chant.
We all have zunes. We're not allowed to use anything that's non-Microsoft branded. So we all have Surfaces. We all have Zunes to listen to our music on. It's just essential.
So here's what I will say this though. I do not like, and I know you're trying to be kind of cheeky here, but like in general, here's what I think. I think for the most part in corporate America, let's just talk about corporate America jobs.
Yeah.
Your standard, I'm going to go work in CubeLand with everyone else. People look at .NET as an access to a paycheck. Now, we like things and we think it's cool. We think it's awesome. But at the same time, it's really about the paycheck. And then there's a lot of people that do .NET that I hear all the time where they kind of cuss out Bill all the time. That's what they say when something doesn't go right,
Right.
It doesn't work quite right.
Right.
Like, thanks a lot, Bill, so they're always running down Bill Gates like he had something to do with it. But like, so I don't think so. I don't think they're cults. It's not cult like at all. I mean, people are usually trying to figure out how do we sell insurance or how do we sell hardware or lumber or
Right.
that's the problems we're talking about. And .NET is the tool that the company uses to do that. But you'll see in a lot of .NET shops where the back end is in C Sharp, the front end's in React, and we're publishing that thing to AWS. So there's a lot of companies involved in that, kind of the React being Facebook, AWS being obviously Amazon, and then you have things like .NET on the back end, which is Microsoft. And maybe that's Oracle instead of, which I know is Shop, and that's the stack.
It's kind of funny because we obviously talk about Microsoft a lot. We talk
.NET.
about C Sharp here a lot, and obviously that just people just like C Sharp equals Microsoft, so we talk about that a lot and we push that a lot. But I mean, you hardware wise, you have a Mac. You're not like running a.
I have a Mac.
You tried a Surface, hated it, got a Mac.
What I would say though is that the big downfall to the Surface, I think it was Surface 2, the one I had, was the dock. The dock was just like there was something wrong with it when you cooked it, and it just wouldn't stay connected to multi monitors.
We're not talking about like a singular dock either. We're talking about we had like 3 in the office and none of them worked. Yeah. They were all as bad as each other.
Now the new dock seems to be, so we've got some instructors on the new Surface, like so. And the new dock seems to be rock solid. It looks like they've got that figured out. But
that's good.
My point was 64 gigs of RAM was hard to get on a Surface Book or next to impossible, where you could get it on a MacBook. And then an i9 on a MacBook you could get, and you couldn't get it in a Surface. So that was the primary reason I went over to Mac. So was the hardware, and then hey, it's rock solid when you connect it to monitors. So,
it works.
Yeah.
Like it works, exactly. Halo Forces, all I see is CFE. All exclusive stuff too. Sorry, you can't buy the stuff.
Exactly.
Sorry. We do have some stuff available. You can look us up on Teespring. Links in the description below.
The double vision CF shirt. Which I like.
Yeah.
Love that thing.
Yeah, I'm not wearing mine today. I wore yesterday. Let me see.
But unfortunately, Paul, all my clothes are CF clothes. That's kind of the way it works.
That's the way it works. I wear a lot of CF stuff.
Yeah.
Let me see. Simple question. Easy one for you. If he wants to know what language do you prefer. Can anybody have a guess? First person to put it in chat wins nothing.
Power Builder. That's what it is. That's C Sharp, obviously.
That's
all right, cool. Thanks, Nabi.
Let me see.
All right. So if you've got a burning question, just hit us on the super chat. We'd love to interact with you. I know there's a lot of questions coming in, so Kevin's going to.
Oh, yeah. Jordan, here's the thing. Having a degree will definitely help with the automated resume filters. Yes. I'm not saying, hold on. We're not saying having the degree is bad. We're saying the piece of paper is not really worth anything.
And
the knowledge you get during it is good.
Here's what I will say, Jordan. I think the skill section is more important in that resume than the degree for those automated filters. And second, don't trust the automated resume filters. You need to be working with a recruiter anyway, so that you can just circumvent that whole thing. And that's the best way to avoid automated resume filters, is just don't blindly apply. Make sure you're working with a recruiter or you're in contact with the company itself, even when you do apply. So, but yeah, I think the skill section is more important than the degree section. Most coders are self-taught.
Okay, Jonathan, question. So Jonathan, I guess, is in a 2-year program for backend development. Awesome. Next year has a 6-month internship. Cool. So this is like this is probably like one of those Associates of Applied Science type degrees where you do an internship, which is super good. I like those programs. I think they're very good because they do give you practical knowledge. So it said, what would you consider a good company to intern at? And what question would you ask the company to find this out?
So I think the thing that you want to know is like, what am I working on? What am I going to do as an intern? What am I going to learn and what am I going to work on would be what I would want to know more than anything. But I don't know if you can be super choosy when you're doing a 6-month internship either. So like you just need to be able to there's this thought that goes around on Twitter and tech Twitter that you need to interview the company just as hard as they interview you. And I don't believe in that approach. I think that
certainly not breaking in.
not breaking in,
You
I
can't
think you
afford
have
to
to
do
take
that.
what you can get. And then you turn that internship into positive for you, whether that's the worst place in the world. Just make sure that you can write code, learn things, get experience, and then move on to the next company. And then once you have a career established, then you can interview better or interview more aggressively when you have a career established. But either way, man, I think there's ways to ask these questions without being like so kind of, I don't know, pretentious is the word I'll use.
Yeah.
Because they are hiring you and they are paying you, and it doesn't mean you have
hopefully
to work
hopefully
there.
they're paying you. If they're not paying you, that's
exactly.
an issue too.
That's a whole different issue. I mean, like, that's one. But I don't think you need to really interview them to find out. Just see, hey, what am I going to work on? What kind of things can I build here? And then turn that into, wow, that sounds interesting. I'd really like to work on that. Is there any possible way I could do that? I think that's how I would advise people to interview, because all I want people to do is get jobs, not necessarily have this kind of, I don't know, this kind of backwards looking into interviews. Like, they'll be lucky to have me.
Right. What's he saying here? Alex, all right, you forced me into this. What's the secret to YouTube branding?
To do this.
Oh, that's funny.
Tech rally.
What's the secret to YouTube branding? Branding in terms of what? I'm not sure the branding in terms of.
I think he wants to know how we got to 65,000 plus subs.
2.5 years worth of work. I mean, that's the only thing I can put it down to.
So I think I do talk to a lot of people that do this, Kevin, and I know, and we're just taking our advice. We're not YouTube. That's not typically what we talk about. So we do watch other people that are in this space and how to grow. And we've been fortunate enough, you've made some friendships where people have reached out to you and gave you advice. I think the most famous one would be the group from Mr. Beast. Is that accurate? I'm just saying that off the top of my head. Okay.
No, I spoke to some of those guys. They know a lot about YouTube, so it's like they're kind of accessible, so it's kind of nice.
Right. Here's I don't know. We shouldn't advise. I don't know if we should say this, but in general, I think you build content that the audience and the YouTube wider audience is looking for, and so like that's what you do, and then you tag it up based on content that's beside that. So if you can put up a web page and just type in coding project in YouTube. We'll just show them this real quick.
Yeah.
That crowd is super chatted, so we got to give him his money's worth. So.
Paul, that's funny. I'm
going to show you how. You're gonna have Paul, I'm going to show you how you can be more popular in Tech Rally right now. So type in coding project. This is what we did. Now listen, in there, I'm like the number one thing in there, and that's not to say how great we are, but it shows you that how a title and the tags are very, very important. And then the word coding project there. And if you look down there, there's a lot of challenges that are way bigger than us. And so we target things that people look for. So if you're looking for a project or something to make, search something up, see what the most watched video is, and just do that.
Coding after 40. That's funny. That's funny. Hey, can I just? I think you should change your channel name. I think that's only fair.
Coding after 40. So we basically look at things that people are looking for, and now I don't think Kevin does that as much anymore. Sometimes when we basically have meetings and we make the content we want to make at this point, but then also we will do a little bit of ground research and say, what are other people titling the video in this video that we're going to make anyway? So, but if you wanted a hit video or be in the top 5 of another video, then make a video on that topic and then try to tag it up like they did and try to make the title with the right keywords in it. And then hopefully you get in the recommend engine, which the one coding project is in the recommend engine.
Right. YouTube
which
has
means that,
multiple algorithms, and it's kind of
yeah,
weird that you have to really get into sort of the way that
yeah.
the site works. It's kind of interesting. It's
But when
interesting
that
stuff. I think it'll
project
be
hits
interesting.
1 million, I think we should give something away. It's going to get 1 million views here in a little bit, but so like I think we should give something away when that happens.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Yeah, 811,000. I
Yeah,
think it's slowed down a little bit. But
yeah,
yeah, we will reach that'll be our first 1 million views video for sure.
yeah,
That's a cool achievement, I think. My ultimate thing with YouTube, and I say this a lot and all the time, is just add value. And I
yeah,
tweeted this just yesterday, actually.
yeah,
And I still see it. It's insane that we see this, but we see so many people and so many brands in particular doing YouTube wrong. They just
yeah.
don't get it. It's just they just put a channel up with just a bunch of terrible ads or like
Commercials. So like we
testimonial
try to
commercials or something. It
actively
just doesn't
avoid
work.
commercials, even though we talk about Learn.Coder Foundry here. But like we're trying to answer questions on our live stuff to help you out.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's see another super chat. EJ Lebank, thank you for the super chat. You talking about your
Yeah, thank
setup?
you.
What software and setup are you using to integrate with MS Stream at all?
Oh, he wants to know about our setup. Oh,
No.
okay, cool.
we don't.
Got another one here.
You guys are killing me now. Hold on. Let me see. I'll come back to that one. Hold on. This one first.
Appreciate it.
It says, can you talk more about your setup? So we use two different things. Sometimes you'll see us on here with StreamYard. When we're doing live, you'll sometimes see us on here with StreamYard. This is not StreamYard today. If we have guests, we're using StreamYard because it's easy to pull people out. I don't have to have like high bandwidth things, which you do with this. Otherwise, we're using a piece of software called Vmix. That's how we're putting all of this thing together. And it's a custom setup we have within Vmix.
And you're looking at Vmix right now.
Yeah, this is Vmix right now. And then as far as like hardware-wise, you have in the studio space, obviously a whole bunch of lights and that kind of stuff, boring stuff.
Right.
And then pocket cinema camera. And I'm using an older Olympus OMD camera, obviously with some lights. And my favorite piece of hardware, I have a Stream Deck, which is what I use to do like this, to push this stuff on and off the screen, and little button pushes. It just makes it nice and easy.
Yeah, and I'm using something called an ATM Mini as my Stream Deck that's because it integrates with the camera I'm using. So it does real-time color correction, things like that. And then when I hook it up, I can bring in up to 4 sources into it. So it's a little different than the Elgato product. They do different things.
Yep. Yeah, it does. It's way more involved than the Elgato product. It just runs macros, buttons for macros. That's what it really does.
Yeah, but it
works great with Vmix.
I don't think the macro thing is even in the ATM Minis. So they're really literally two different things.
Yeah. They really are two different. Yeah, it's two totally different things.
And then the other thing we'll use is when next week comes around, I'm going to have to give myself promotion. Like when we go after world's first Vault of Glass raid for Destiny 2, we'll be on Twitch and Coder Foundry here, and we're using OBS for that. Because OBS is on my Windows box, and
you don't have Vmix.
Vmix, we just are. So.
Yeah. Well, Vmix is a paid piece of software too. I think it's like $500 or something. So we have one copy. We don't have two. It just makes it easier.
Yeah. So we do a lot of things. We've used a lot.
So what is?
Hope that helps. Appreciate it.
What did Paul say here? Anyway, I didn't get to read this. I will box the next person on the live stream. That is funny. That is funny. But hey, I mean, at this point, Paul, you're just lying, everybody.
I know it's like
overthink, but
I'm not boxing Paul.
Well, I'm not either, but I'm just saying. Like, I'm not calling out your name. I'm just saying.
He's technically after 30. That's true.
Well, yeah, but but I'm after 20. I mean, you know what I mean? That's just plain lying, isn't it? I think he's trying to catfish people. I think that's what he's doing.
Exactly.
I think that's what it is. He's just trying to catfish people. I see how it is.
But yeah, just check out Coding After 30 and Tech Rally, our two friends there that are chatting us up today. So
definitely check them out. We have lots of taco money now. Thank you. I'd also like to say thank you to Brian Hawkins too for becoming a channel member. So thank you for that too.
Thanks,
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I see it in the thing, but I can't push it on the screen. Allow me to, but I see it, and thank you very much for that. We super appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna be back Tuesday.
Get one more after here, and we'll see what's one more. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Antonio, thank you. What's he say? Who would you give that name? The YouTube channel. What's the name? I didn't see the name.
I didn't see the name.
I just totally missed it now. You can maybe dig back through this, aren't you? I don't get the context of the message. Sorry. Maybe that makes sense to you guys in chat if I'm following along with it. Oh, this is funny too. Look, actually, on the slide separate note, his baby face. He does
have a baby face, though. He does not look 40. So that's for sure. We'll give him props on that, man.
Especially with all that fighting, Paul. I'm surprised they didn't. Maybe you never got hit. Maybe you were just.
Maybe he's got a skincare routine. Maybe that's the challenge you need to start.
Yeah. Do you want to share your skincare routine here with us? Oh, that'd be great. That's riveting viewing right there. Everybody's gonna show up for your skincare routine.
Hey, that skin repair and makeup stuff is big on YouTube. I mean,
it is. Hey, funny thing. I tried to get Bobby to do a makeup video early on. We were doing this. Yeah. I was like, we should do a makeup video. I walked to the office. I was like, we should do a makeup video, kind of joking. It was just like, not gonna. No. Never gonna happen. I'm like, but you seen this thing has like 8 million views. Look at this. He's like, yeah, exactly. Not gonna happen. Like,
have standard.
Okay.
Have a price.
Oh, that's funny. So yes, we'll be back on Tuesday. Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for the super chats today too, by the way.
Thank you.
Always fun.
Thank you, Paul.
Yep.
So I'm gonna have to go on your next live show and super chat you back, Paul.
There you go. So you do a live. I think Paul does a live on Saturdays, so you can have to. It'll be on this weekend. I think he does a live on Saturdays. I don't know when Alex does his actually. You do a live, so Alex? I don't know if you're doing scheduled lives, but I know Paul has one on Saturdays because I was on one a couple weeks ago.
Okay, cool.
Send them a couple of messages.
All right. Well, look for the channel. We'll probably release some content here, pre-recorded content soon. I'm working on that, but primarily we're working on Learn.Coder Foundry. That's kind of why we've not done that, because working on skincare after 30. There you go, Paul. That's it. I think that's the building of a brand. I think you can do lots of things now. People are onto it now, man.
I think it's skincare after
30.
I think it's skincare after 40, though. Really. And on that note, before he threatens me, let's leave.
All right. Thank you, guys. We'll be back on Tuesday, guys. Good luck and keep coding. We'll see you later.
We'll see you later.